DNR leased that property to them for 99 years for $63,000. Nothing.
And you see these semi-trucks traveling in one right after the other to pick up this water, which has been pumped from the ground, has traveled through 12 miles of stainless steel pipe. They've treated it with chemicals. They've put it in plastic bottles, which are a non-renewable resource. They're polluting our watersheds the moment you've consumed the water.
And I'm sure a lot of it will end up right back up here because they sell Ice Mountain in the area. So it's ludicrous. They make scads of money giving our water back to us.
They're being sued in 5 states. In Zephyr Hills, they took so much water that there are huge sinkholes where the land is sinking. And I live on a farm, and I don't want my little stream to disappear, and they want to put more wells up in Everett.
My wife's sister, when they were doing her testing last year, she ran out of water at that time when they were doing her 7-day test and 4-day test.
And my neighbor next to me is almost out of water, and all of this started after they started testing their wells.
We're fighting this battle, this David and Goliath battle.
We are having to have garage sales and bake sales and concerts and all kinds of little fundraisers.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Lawrence C. Root presides. You may be seated.
The UN is saying in their reports, by the year 2020, we're going to have half the world's population without adequate water. By God, they're coming after Michigan's water.
When Nestlé came into Michigan, they said, we're a good corporate citizen. We're not going to hurt anything. We're responsible. During the trial, the company kept pumping during a season of drought.
Any of the predicted reductions in flow in dead stream will have absolutely no effect on that ecosystem.
The stream area in front of one of the clients' homes was basically a mud flat. I cross-examined the plant manager and I said, look at these pictures, there's a mud flat here. Don't you think you ought to stop pumping? They kept pumping even then.
Some of these small channels that flow into the lake from these springs along the North Shore almost stopped flowing.
The reality was, no matter what they said, there was significant adverse impact, and they kept pumping.
We had a petition drive, and a couple of weeks later, citizens are calling me and saying, someone knocked on my door, and it was a private investigator.
They even hired a firm that came around and went to people's doors, knocked on their door and said, did you sign a petition? And confronted these older folks.
What we did was we said, let's go back in time and look at who owned the water 1,000 years ago in Rome. And how has the civil law in Europe and in other cultures handled this question of water ownership and use. And what we found was that water has always had a public aspect to it. This water has always been considered not owned by anybody. I mean, today we think, well, isn't that profound? It's not profound at all. I mean, that's just common sense. You look at the sun. Do you own the sun? Water is this transient gift on earth for life, moving and flowing. And inherent in its transient nature is the idea of commons. Things that are not transient, like this pen, okay, you can pick up and own. Things that are transient, you don't own. The judge ruled, he simply said, look, a diversion of water for selling somewhere else that diminishes the flow or lake, the integrity of this flow of water is unlawful. It cannot be done. They do not have the property right to do it, and he told him to turn off the pumps.
This is what happened, This is 1854. The American Indian chief of Seattle replies to an offer from the white government of the United States to buy, within quotation, to buy a large area of Indian land. How can you buy or sell the sky, the warmth of the land? The idea is strange to us. If you do not own the freshness of the air and the sparkle of the water, how can you buy them? You don't own them. Every part of this earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every humming insect is holy in the memory and experience of my people. This beautiful earth is the mother of the red man. We are part of the earth and it is part of us. The rivers are our brothers. We give the rivers the kindness we would give to any brother. But the white man does not understand our ways. He is a stranger who takes from the land whatever he needs. The earth is not his brother but his enemy, and when he has conquered it, he moves on. He kidnaps the earth from his children and he does not care. I do not know. Our ways are different from your ways.
Coca-Cola, go back! No Pepsi, no cola! We want drinking water! No Pepsi, no cola! We want drinking water! Pani chahiye! Pepsi nahi!
When I first came to Plachimada last year, my sisters were sitting alone, having persisted for a year to tell Coke to go home.
What's happening here is that these women from all generations are being put off the land by Coca-Cola, which is across the road stealing their water, bottling their water, poisoning their land. Their wells are running dry, their food isn't good anymore, the water is impossible to bathe in. So these people have been in a sit-in like this for almost 2 years now. Every single day they quietly, with great dignity, come here and speak their truth to that power across the road.
Nobody in this country, especially the poor, have the luxury to sit at a time when they could be working to make a living. And I know that if our sisters and brothers are sitting here day in and day out, it is with a reason.
ഈ കമ്പനി വരാത്ത മുമ്പ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ ജീവിതങ്ങൾ വളരെ സുന്ദരമായി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. നല്ല വെള്ളങ്ങളുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, നല്ല പണി ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പാടത്ത് പണിക്കല്ലേ പോകണം, പണികളൊക്കെ നല്ല പണി കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു.